Yeah, I think just to start this off, everything that I have to say has about been said. I'm sure the same is with Rich. But I think just to take a second and talk about how unique these two guys are sitting up here. And I have to go back one more time and kind of relive the story of 4 years ago at about this time. I was staying at the Hotel Albuquerque. It was the night before the signing date. And this story is about Cranston Jones first. Night before the signing date, all the commitments were in. We had committed to all the scholarship players we're going to sign. I got a phone call at about 10 o'clock at night from a young man in Las Vegas that had changed his mind. And then about a half hour later, I got a call from another young man in Las Vegas that had changed his mind. And both of them were going to school where their fathers had either coached or played. So we kind of got the rug pulled out from underneath us. And Cranston had visited New Mexico, and we loved him. From Mesquite, very coached up. High school coach did a great job with him, a technique player. But this is not a perfect science. And it got to the end where we ended up not offering Cranston a scholarship. And I don't mean to embarrass him at all, because he's had an unbelievable career here. So I get that phone call, and now it's about 11 o'clock, and probably midnight in Texas. So I call Cranston Jones. And he is going to the University of Idaho. And he said, "Coach, I appreciate the phone call. I've given my word to the University of Idaho. I apologized for even calling him, really, and putting him on the spot. I apologized for the way the process had worked." And then about probably 45 minutes later, I get a phone call back from Cranston. It said, "Cranston has changed his mind." So I said, "Go in and wake your mom up." Now it's about 1 o'clock in the morning. And then Cranston signed with us the next morning. So it's an unbelievable story. He's come in here, played against the best wide receivers there are. He's had some downs, but he's had way more ups. And he's played just about every down since he's walked in here. And he's played injured. He's right now played with an elbow that's really been 2 years, right? 2 years. And I've got tremendous respect for him, tremendous respect. And then David Anaya, this guy from Roswell, New Mexico, state heavyweight wrestling champion, not heavyweight.
182.
182. Running back, gained an unbelievable amount of yards. I come in here, first of all, when I came in, there was no recruiting lists or anything. I mean, we started completely from scratch. But I kept watching this guy, and I kept calling him. He had a couple other things going on, maybe Eastern New Mexico, Western New Mexico,
D2s.
some of those D2s. Kept talking to him, fell in love with him. Got him to come here and walk on. He wasn't a walk-on long. And you look at what he's done for us. Throwing the ball, catching the ball, stripping, making tackles, causing fumbles. So I think, every team has their story. Just the uniqueness of our situation, I think, is totally visible right here with these two guys here. One guy that was going to Idaho, and just to finish that story, and I apologize about going long on this, but two kids decommitted that night at 10 o'clock. I called Cranston Jones first. About a half hour later, I called Chris Edling. Chris Edling was going to Angelo State. And I called him, and it was the same conversation, about I apologize for this. I apologize about calling. I can certainly understand that you don't want to come. I don't operate this way, but here's what it is. And Chris Edling followed up and called back about 1 o'clock in the morning and signed the next day. And if you look at number 48, Chris Edling, what he's done, you look at Cranston Jones, what he's done, number 3, and David Anaya, number 25. It's amazing what these guys, no red shirt here, not one of the three. I came in here, and because of the specific situation, not their fault, had to play right away. So anyhow, I apologize about rambling on, but I think it kind of gives you a unique perspective of what this program has come from and what these guys have done. They're unbelievable, unbelievable kids that are good, solid football players. And I promise you, they have made New Mexico better. And hopefully they're better people for having gone through our program for 4 years. So with that said, I guess we could open it up for questions.
Thomas Morales, New Mexico Daily Lobo. This question's for David. Just how does it feel, being a New Mexico native, last game here is going to be in the New Mexico Bowl?
It's an amazing feeling. It's a blessing, and it's an amazing opportunity to come here and play for your hometown and play for the New Mexico Lobos, and especially playing the New Mexico Bowl. I've always dreamed of going to a bowl game, and now that it's kind of presented itself, it's just an unbelievable feeling.
Hi, I'm Michael Lev, Arizona Daily Star. This question is for Coach. Obviously not a lot of film of Scooby Wright from this year. I imagine you went back and watched some of his film from last year or his freshman year. What are your impressions of him, and what kind of an impact do you think he might have in this game?
Yeah, I've watched him on television a lot of times, and he reminds me of a couple guys on our team, really these two guys here, that there's never a wasted step. There is never a wasted step. And he's fun to watch. Dakota Cox for us reminds me of that. Obviously, the season didn't go the way he wanted the season to go, and Arizona actually overcame so many injuries, that team. But no, we don't go back. One of the things of our offense is the positive is teams haven't played against it before a lot of times, but the negative is there's not a lot of video confirmation of how they're going to play you. So it really doesn't do us a lot of good to go back a whole lot. We've researched, Rich when he was at West Virginia, Jeff Castile all the way back. It's amazing, over their whole period in coaching, there hasn't been a whole lot of option teams that they faced. But Scooby Rat, I'm glad he's playing in this game. I think it's great for him to get back and play his final game. I think it says a lot about him. A lot of guys in that situation, they don't come back and play the last game. So he isn't doing it necessarily for him, he's doing it for the University of Arizona, and that says a lot about what he's about.
All the way in the back here, this is for the players, David and Cranston, back here, guys. JP Murrieta, KOB TV. You guys are in a unique situation that it's your first bowl game for the program since '07, but you're playing on your home field kind of deal. Does it feel like a bowl game, the postseason, or does it feel like, you're getting ready for another game?
Playing on anytime you get to play on your home field, it's a great deal for you. But we moved into the hotel Wednesday, started getting to do a couple bowl things, and so we got into a bowl field then. But I think once Saturday comes, tomorrow, and we step on that field, I think it's going to feel like more of a home field advantage, and again, we're going to treat it like a home game. And so I think that us getting to play at home is a good deal.
Rick Wright, Albuquerque Journal. Cranston, you've been practicing against UNM's offense for 4 years, but take yourself back to when you first got here as a freshman and the first time you got a look at it. How hard was it to defend?
It was very hard to defend, especially coming in as a freshman, never having defended a triple option ever. And then you're a freshman on the field, everything's fast, everything's moving fast, and so seeing the triple option for the first time, it was very hard adjusting to it. I mean, we played it a lot different then than we do now, and it was fast. Everything happened fast, and it was seeing a lot of big plays happening, and so it was fast. That's all I can say.
Cranston, David Kelly, Tucson News Now. Just that story that Coach Davie just told from your standpoint. Why did you call him back and then change your mind to come here?
I mean, when I came, I really liked a lot of the things that were going on here. I had a great time on my visit. I really did. I enjoyed the facilities. It's actually, he says it a lot. We have great facilities, and I took some visits, and we do have great facilities. And I actually, Ridge Jones, he's a good friend of mine. I knew him in high school. He actually called me that same night, and
You never told me that.
nah, he called me that same night.
I thought I was the one that swung.
I talked to my coach. My coach called Ridge Jones. Ridge called me, and me and Ridge had a conversation. And so, I think it was a better situation for me to not, go all the way to Idaho. Go right here to New Mexico, better facilities, have a good chance, to turn the program around with a great coach. And so that was mainly the decision I made.
Van Tay, KRQE. Coach, we were talking about, Coach, when
Hey,
I was
man.
talking to Coach Rodriguez about you guys' explosiveness. Same question posed to you. What concerns you most about Arizona?
You start with Arizona's offense, and, you know, I've said this forever, but, you know, it's such a copycat profession, whether it's NFL or college football. You know, coaches take things that other coaches do well and copycat. Every coach in the country is copycat at Rich Rodriguez, and I mean that sincerely. There's a piece of Rich Rodriguez's offense in everybody's playbook. So it starts with the offense. It starts with their tempo. Like he said a little bit ago, when they get it rolling, they get it rolling. You look at some of the teams they've exploded on this year. It's impressive. So I think that's the first thing, you know, the tempo of their offense. Obviously, they're all Pac-12 players, obviously. And then defense, you know, Jeff Castile, David Lockwood coached the secondary for me at Notre Dame one year, who's the defensive back coach. They're innovative there as well. You know, they're 3-3-5. They do some different things. So they're innovative. They've got Pac-12 players. There's no question that we're the underdog in this game, and I can't argue with that.
Question for both players, Orlando Sanchez, KOAT TV. Has it hit you guys yet that this is it? And what does it mean to be able to play that last game in Albuquerque, New Mexico?
Me personally, it hasn't exactly hit me solid that it's my last college football game playing for the University of New Mexico, but I think when I walk through the tunnel and I kind of get on the field, emotions are going to run high. Right now it feels like, you know, it doesn't feel like a home game because we're staying in the Marriott and we're staying away from the Sheraton and everything, and we're getting all these cool gifts and whatnot. We've stayed in there since Wednesday, but just playing in this last game, it's going to feel like a home game walking through the tunnel. It's going to feel like, honestly, like almost senior day felt, but senior day wasn't as high emotions. It was just kind of going out to play another game because we knew we were looking forward to the New Mexico Bowl. So this game is going to have a lot of emotions to itself.
For David, try to put yourself in the place of a scout for an opposing team trying to simulate this offense. I mean, how hard would it be to try and get up to speed on that?
I think it would be very difficult because being in offense, and from what I've learned through Coach Wright and Coach DeBest, there's a lot of moving parts and there's a lot of different presentations that you have to deal with, and there's a lot of cats, honestly, you could say. There's a lot of fast kids on our team, and, you know, trying to keep up with the speed of the game and trying to just get the idea of what the scheme is would be really tough just because of how fast it moves.
David, this question's for you, but this week there's been some talk from a politician who wants in-state schools to offer kids from New Mexico more athletic scholarships. And since you walked the path where you had to come in the way you did, I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I think high school kids across New Mexico can really play football. I think we all take pride in where we're from, and we all take pride in the schools that we played for, and especially me coming from Roswell, that's all we kind of knew was football. And me and my friends would get together at 2 p.m. every Sunday and play backyard football on Goddard's practice field since we were like 5 years old. So watching the kids around New Mexico like Cole Gauchi, Reese White, those guys all came out of my class, and, you know, those guys really balled out in a way, and they were fun to watch. And I don't know, Andrew Aho, he was fun to watch. He graduated a few years back. We can all play football, and recruiting out of New Mexico would be awesome, but we're also trying to win. And I'm not saying that New Mexico kids can't bring in the winning tradition to here, but you got to do what you got to do to win. So whatever it takes.
Coach Davie, so many of us remember you from your Notre Dame years, but how has this job been different and most enjoyable for you?
You know, that's a whole story. That's a whole story. You know, I think, I mean, where do I start? You know, I've enjoyed everything I've done immensely. You know, I've never been I've been married 37 years. I've never been quick to change. I've bought into and put everything I had into everything I did, including broadcasting. You know, I thought I was going to go back to coaching after 1 year, but I put everything I had into it, and it was great for me and my family. So, you know, to have the opportunity to do this again, I've got tremendous respect for Paul Krebs, our athletic director, for hiring me. You know, let's be honest, not many guys that have been out of coaching 10 years get the opportunity to do it again. So there was some blind faith there by Paul. And then to be able to come in here and take something that, was broken, and then build it. It's been a great run. It's been a great run. And just listening to David in Cranston, I've got a guy, Rocky Boyman, for example, that's coming in and doing the color analyst for ESPN, that played for me at Notre Dame. I recruited him for Notre Dame. He was team captain. He played 8 years in the NFL. He won a Super Bowl. None of those guys at Notre Dame have anything on these kids, period. And whether it's in front of 100,000 and NBC's doing it and all over the world it's being shown, or we're on route and there's 18,000, it's exactly the same to me. The process of coaching day to day and being around these kids is exactly the same. So I don't want to take people's time. I feel very fortunate to have the opportunity to do this again. 10 years being out of it was probably the best thing that ever happened, because I enjoy just the day-to-day process, and will never take that for granted. But, I've told this story, I was here about a day or two, and some guy came in the office, and I apologize because I can't remember what his name was. He's a pretty knowledgeable football guy. And he said, "Coach, I just want you to know now it's official. You've had the 2 toughest jobs in college football, Notre Dame and New Mexico." And it took a little while to understand what he meant, because when I first came in, I didn't realize the roster was quite the way it was. There was some chaos going on. But it's been a pretty good run, man. So maybe if I write a book someday, that'll be the title, right? 2 toughest jobs in college football. So I've enjoyed every second of it.
Van, take care, RQE. David, you and Cranston, both of you guys, want to ask you all, what has the bowl experience been like for you up to this point? Because, this team is going for the first time since 2007.
It's been fun. It's been a great deal for us. Actually getting to participate in the bowl game, and us being seniors, playing in our last game here in New Mexico. We just taking it all in, especially moving into this hotel. Participating in all the bowl events. We just taking it all in, wanting to have fun and give it all we got on Saturday.
It has been a whole different experience for us. Nobody on the team, well, I guess a couple transfer players, but really nobody on the team has experienced this kind of experience, I guess, in this atmosphere. And we've never gotten the opportunity to go to a bowl game, even though that's been our goal through the whole seasons. And now that we've kind of changed the culture around here and made it into a winning team, the bowl experience has really opened a lot of players' eyes. And throughout the hotel, you can hear players say, like, this is awesome and this is a great experience and we need to be doing this every year. And you can tell that the culture is sort of changing into that winning culture. And this bowl game has honestly opened everybody's eyes to what a winning culture can and will do for you.
This question is for Bob Davie in the back here, JP Murrieta, KOB TV.
Hey, JP.
Coach, if you could kind of put on your old ESPN hat for a moment and break down this matchup, do you see a high-scoring affair? What kind of game do you see on Saturday?
I mean, if I was doing this game, that's what I would say. I would say New Mexico's a huge underdog in this game. And I think there should be and probably will be points in this game. You've got 2 offenses that are a little bit unique, 2 offensive statistically. I mean, Arizona's 15th in the country in total offense, 20th in the country in scoring offense, and they play in a great conference. So I would think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game, but I've also learned you never know. You never, ever, ever know. But if I'm betting, I'm saying there's going to be some points scored. And I'm not betting, by the way. So.
Coach, Fred Holberg over here, 101.7. How do you feel about this being you're going to be the first game on TV, first game for anybody in the United States to see? Is it a more special moment for that, you being the first on TV?
I think it is. I think it is. After spending that time at ESPN, I realize what a great slot this is for ESPN. I mean, there's a reason there's 40-some bowl games. I mean, there's tremendous following and tremendous viewership in these games. And I think it's a great game because I don't know about Cranston and David, but a lot of our guys tomorrow night at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock are at that airport and going home or driving home. So you get a chance to play a bowl game, be the first game on, and the publicity that comes with that. You just look at the bottom of ESPN right now, the New Mexico Bowl comes up every night, Arizona and New Mexico. So for a lot of reasons, I think this is a unique fit I think Jeff Symbiote has done a great job with this, and I definitely do think it's a great deal to play the first bowl game.
Coach, here in the back, Orlando Sanchez, KOAT. You mentioned being an underdog. That seems to be the role of you guys most of this year, especially those last 4 games of the season. Is there a certain comfort zone with being the underdog?
You know what? I don't even honestly pay any attention to it. The first guy that told me anything about being an underdog was Eden Mahina. You know, Eden Mahina seems like do you guys pay attention to that?
Yeah, I pay attention.
You do?
I do. Oh, you talking about me? No,
Yeah,
I pay
I'm talking
attention
about
to Eden. Pay attention.
Yeah, Eden Mahina pays
Yeah.
attention to it. So he usually is the voice of what the spread is. You know, I've never even paid any attention. In fact, first time I heard anything about the spread actually was before we played. It was a home game there late.
No,
Huh? Maybe Colorado
Colorado State. It was Colorado.
Before Colorado State, he was giving a passion talk right before we go out, and he mentioned something about the point spread, what kind of underdogs we were. And then I realized, you know, I better get my head out of the sand. Maybe some of these guys do pay attention to things like that. But you guys know this. At the end of the day, when that ball comes off that tee and we start this game, it always comes back to the game. All this conversation, all this painting, this kind of picture, Arizona's this, New Mexico's this guy coached at West Virginia and Michigan, and this guy coached at Notre Dame, and now none of that matters. When that ball goes in the air, it's about execution.
Yes, this question is for David Anaya. David, Rock and Rick, KDCE Radio, Española, Santa Fe, Los Alamos, Taos. How proud are you to be our native son being in a bowl game, and how proud we are of you?
I'm very proud. It's an awesome experience playing for my home state, and you know, kind of realizing the fans I got across the state in a way is awesome. You know, I love the support, and I love the fan appreciation of it, and I love going out there and playing this game. So to be able to play a bowl game at home in front of, you know, my home state, and you know, everybody that's watched me play through the years, watched me play high school ball, and now watch me play college ball, it's a humbling experience, and it's an honorable experience for me.
I think it'd be interesting. I don't know how many guys in here have maybe written or on air talked about too many bowl games. And maybe you might want to reconsider, right? Here's David Anaya from Roswell, New Mexico. Here's Cranston Jones from Mesquite, Texas, and they're playing in their first bowl game. And maybe for some schools, maybe there are too many bowl games. But I promise you, for us, there's not too many bowl games. So you may want to consider a little bit after listening to a couple of these guys talk.